Dave Scott Hub Media, joined by Lil from CMHA. It's the May 2025 show. It's springtime and Lil's got a cold. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's much better though, much better. Yeah.
You're feeling better, and that's important. I wanted to touch base with you today because I was watching these amazing podcasts recently, and it really brought to the forefront the effects of social media for me and how it's politicized and how in other countries people use this to create fear, anger, and hate. And I really thought that's so important about our mental health to be able to step back. I've written a piece in the May Hub on it, just how folks need to step back a little bit and understand better, right? Like, I mean, if you're already having anxiety and then you're have this fear thrown upon you about something in your life or in general in our lives in this country or any country for that matter, it creates this, oh, who's doing this to me? That creates that anger, right? And then that anger, because you're so upset, might turn to hate on some people, but there's no reason for it because the information in the beginning wasn't right. Like, we really got to, for our own mental health, right, we got to be more cognizant of what we're reading and seeing.
Yes. This is an excellent topic, Dave, because we all know that a lot of people spend a lot of time on social media, right?
Yeah.
And maybe sometimes a little bit too much, right? But you have to remember that everything that's on social media is often sensationalized, and not always factual. So you really need to be careful about going down that rabbit hole, because sometimes when I'm surfing Facebook or wherever, and I get angered and I get upset and I have to turn it off going, oh my goodness, because I don't really want to hear all that traumatic information. Now, you're looking at a person that's living with mental illness that really does not need to go down that rabbit hole and needs to take a step back from, that information that they're being bombarded with on a constant basis on social media. So it's really important to just not overconsume that information.
I think too, when it's fear-based, you
Yes,
have to look at where it's coming from. One of the things that
exactly.
years ago I learned was look at the source
Exactly.
and understand that source for what it is, because
Exactly.
they might be trying to drive something the other way in a different context for a point that doesn't fit your beliefs.
That's
So,
right.
you've got to stop that right there and sort of say, that's not what I believe. And here's the reason I believe this, right? For yourself, for your own mental health. And I think that's like, I, when you look back through, the centuries, fear-based thinking, right? It's such a negative output for on our mental health.
Yes, propaganda has
Yeah.
been the way that we get into people's minds, right? And it can be very effective. It's been used for centuries throughout history. So, we really have to remember where the source is coming from. I can look at three different pages, right, or sites, and they can have three different types of information on it. So, you really have to take a step back and say, wait a minute, like,
Yeah.
is this really true or is this factual or do I really need to be on, this platform of whichever you're on right now? Can I just turn it off and just formulate my own opinions because social media is all about influencing people. That's what they try to do, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's figuring out your rhythms,
Yeah.
and the next part was anger, and I wanted to talk a bit about that because do you guys have programs based around anger?
We don't at the moment, but we have had life skills groups about anger management and all that. Because you're getting consumed and bombarded
Right.
with all this information, and what's it going to do? It's going to make you mad, right? It makes me mad sometimes to watch what's happening in the world, so I can imagine, right?
And from what would you recommend then? Do the people like? I mean, we're saying with fear, you got to look at where it's coming from. With anger,
Right. Right.
I think it's that backwards countdown. Just okay,
Yeah.
walk away.
Walk away. Walk away. If you're watching social media and it's making you so angry when you're hearing about what's happening in the world and how things are perhaps escalating, you really have to take a step back and you have to walk away. Turn it off. Just turn it off because chances are, 9 times out of 10, the information is slightly exaggerated and probably not accurate. So it's just going to make you fearful. It's going to make you angry and walk away.
And it's what we talked about because you've
Yeah.
battled. If the fear overtakes you, the
Yeah.
anger comes out of you, and then the
Yes.
hate rises.
That's right.
And that's the division of the population. Like that's just breaking up groups of people. And that really, um, boy, it really bothers me so much because there's no reason for any type of hate. I
No,
mean,
absolutely.
and then again, you're putting people into a category that you don't even understand or you haven't looked at in any form of life. Like, may it be whatever your beliefs are or how you how you work in society. I don't think we should be looking at that word at all.
Not at all. I mean, stick to your beliefs. Try not to get influenced by all the information that's out there. Stick to your beliefs. I mean, that is great advice, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's going to change my mind, but I think if you are already vulnerable and living with some issues, it may impact you. It may impact you.
And the social setting as far as what your financial situation may be or whatever, they find those spots that may be the weakest link for you. And then they feed on those. So if anybody's struggling with mental health issues surrounding those three areas, can they get a hold of you guys?
For sure. Absolutely give us a call, and we're always willing to help. Because we want individuals living with mental illness to have a positive outlook. They do not need any more of that negativity in their lives. So when they come to realize that everything that is on social media, for the most part, is really just to influence and sensationalize, they will make a better decision to just walk away from it. And, we need positivity in our lives. We don't need to be bombarded with hate, increase our fear levels. We really need to just take a step back from all that.
And it's nice that we have, like CMHA, folks that you can sort of turn and talk to because I think that's part of it right now. Because I think a lot of folks are kind of losing direction,
Yeah,
and then you see the fear, the
yeah,
anger, and the hate. But
yeah,
when they, if they have someone that like what you guys do, and just a group chat or something where they can sort of say, okay, help me figure this out. Why is this stopping me from doing what I want to do, right, in
yeah.
life? And I think that's the other thing I see is then the anxiety, the fear, the anxiety builds, right? And then folks struggle to do what they want to do, what's best for their lives.
Yeah. We do have Thrive Group. We have mental health and wellness groups, and all that information is on our website. They're
Cool.
open to everyone, and anyone can attend. So that's what we have. There is a bit of a wait list for our case management, but we have tried to offset that by offering these groups and mental health walk-in services where you can get immediate service.
And my take on it is if those aren't available, get out for a walk.
Yeah,
Put the
exactly.
phone in the computer away, get outside, do the exercise because I think you're burning off all that negative energy too. Your body's feeling
Absolutely.
better and you're clearing your mind
Yes,
and you can go, oh, okay, now I need to refocus. Or
exactly.
there's this
Exactly.
thing where I think we forget, like
Yeah.
you and I have talked about this in the past, but I'm going to bring it up real quick because where if you're outside and you're doing something, it's amazing how much you forget about the
Oh, yeah.
problems
Yeah,
and you sort of you can recalibrate everything. You can go, oh, I never thought about it this way. If you still have that problem lingering and you're looking at different angles of how to deal with it,
exactly.
man, it's amazing how just that change of environment, right? In
Yes,
that setting can change everything, change the channel for you.
exactly. And our weather's getting nicer, and
Oh, yeah.
step away from your computer, turn it off, and go outside and get some fresh air and sunshine.
Next month, I'm going to give you a quick heads up. I got this idea. I think that we all have our sick days and our mental health days. Like if you're not feeling well, you don't go to work. I think it needs to work the other way.
Yeah,
So if you're having, and hear me out, I think if you're having a day where you're like, next Tuesday is my mental health day this month, I'm excited for it. You know what I mean? Like we wait till we're sick. Why aren't we giving it out ahead of time saying, hey, Lil, take next Wednesday off, go hiking?
that's what mental health days are for, right?
Right.
Yeah,
But I mean, we need to actually
yeah,
allow people or make it so you have to take the day.
yeah,
Because I think the other way is you get so run down
yeah,
mentally and physically, you spend the day in bed.
yeah. I know, because
Like I'm
everything
just
catches up with you, right?
right, right. So why aren't we getting in front of it? Why wouldn't companies want to be proactive and say, yeah, next week it's you know, take that day and go do something you enjoy because they need you at your best, not at your
Yes,
worst, right?
exactly. That's a great concept, Dave.
Well,
It's all about
me and you are
work
gonna
life
dive into it in June. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna send
work
it
life
to
balance.
yeah, we're gonna send it up the ladder and say, hey, you
I
know
love
what? If it goes nowhere, at least me and you will have fun. We'll figure it out. We'll try and help people. It's what we
I
do. All right, you take care, and I look forward to catching up with you next month, Lo.
Thank you, Dave.